Hi, how's it going? Morning. I wasn't sure if I was gonna make this video today, but I don't know. I was just really sitting around wondering, like, I don't know, what's the point? What's the meaning? I understand. Anyway, so started off my Saturday. I mean, I took Christine and I to 4-H, and they had a good time after I picked them up later. But anyhow, I took the time to drive around nearby this area. This used to be Neshaminy Manor. These buildings and the building they were at, I'm not sure which one was originally Neshaminy Manor, but anyhow, this is, over there you have this old step out here, and this was perhaps made of brick, and got blown out by some heat destruction like everything around, it seems. And now we have this part left over, so there was something here at one point. And this is a little more detail, so you can kind of see how that front part's looks. And there you go. And here's another shot of that from the other side. And then you can see here where they had their plaque that they put up after the fact. And then you come over to this building over here, which I believe maybe people would call the original Neshaminy Manor. And this brick wall here goes all the way along that front, so I don't know if this was part of the original. And so maybe this is not original building over here. I don't know. So you can see how the edges, my theory is that these edges were all falling out, so they repaired this all up and then they pointed it, if you will. They do that around here a lot with these buildings. They repoint them, so they put the concrete back in these spaces. So I think that's how it happens around here. And here's the front of that building, and you can see these windows here after the fact also, like structure, like what, how come there's a piece there but no piece there in front. This is different, and all these different fronts. So that, and this was a interesting stone alligator that they had put out there. Somebody had found on the property probably and set it out there. Another look at that front part, and here's your keystone for Pennsylvania, but apparently these are everywhere. Here's the side of that building. Again, I wish I had a way to zoom in on with this particular computer. But here's the side of this wonderful building, glorious building with the tops and this stuff like that. This entire building, just unbelievable. And then across the street, so the other building was over here, and across that street, the little street inside the area here, is the health building. But you can see the old wall right here. So there was an older building here once, then this newer building was put in place, I would say in the 70s maybe. That's a detail of that wall. Same old kind of stone, brick thing. I can't understand at this point how this works. If this was all brick, how do these bigger ones get bigger and smaller, but yet it stays square? So that's my problem with this idea that this was all brick. Not sure. So this was across the main street there, and there's an amazing barn over here where the Barn Nature Center is, and that just is incredible stone or brick. I don't know. It's hard to say. And that's that original manor building, I believe. Here was a house that I passed down the street there, and so I guess what we have here is old building with amazing chimney, and then the side here was surfaced with siding, I guess, just the one side. So that's that, and that's another picture of that building. And look at this piece here, and then this here is a barn over where across from where that house was. And you can see the stone on these barns. It's down here on the very lower part. And so the whole thing is stone. They just put this stone or brick. They just put this facade over top. This is a wooden red barn look. And here's the side of that. Here's an old, well, that's a newer concrete dog, I guess. It's hard to say, but that's got to be newer. And you can kind of see all that. So, and this was, I was going down towards this bridge. This is where they just dump rock. So, I mean, my idea is you could take all this rock that's everywhere, and since it was all buildings at one time, you could start putting it together and start piecing this whole thing together. It would be a hell of a task, but somebody could do it. I mean, I do know that they have a lot of companies coming out who do stone crushing, so they're starting to crush all this stone away, and so we will be getting farther away from the true history and unable to find it the more they crush, but they can only do so much. So we'll get out here and look. Here's part of the wall that's near that bridge, and here's some cool graffiti that was on the inside of that bridge. I don't know why when I take these pictures I think they're nice and clear, but then when I see them they're not. I don't know, my phone is really tough. And so this was inside underneath that bridge. Some cool like stuff. People start developing these nice over time things, so somebody will come in here and rework this and you get some more stuff. Here's the other side of that bridge. All this old stone and or brick. So I don't know. It's tough to say. Another part of that wall. This looks like somebody recently was trying to repair this. Like they came down here and thought, oh, I could repair all this. And so they started putting their mortar in here, and they got this much done. That's what I think. I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe this was falling apart. They thought they could get it back together. That's what they did. And the creek bed has areas like this. So this is a fallen down wall, I'm guessing. Used to be brick, and perhaps people will tell you it's maybe bedrock or what have you. I don't know. Another picture of that. Cool thing. Somebody brought down some thicker, either that or maybe that's mud. I don't know, but it wanted to work. And part of that bridge underneath was all these signs. I thought that was really interesting. Just all made of old signs. Ow. More of that. And this was I did a video and had this. I just thought this was really cool. But the suds are always in all this water. Sudsy. I wonder if you were homeless or whatever, you could kind of just come over here and pick that up and clean yourself up a little. Find these all over the creeks. And then I drove down the road here a little bit, and you can see these walls of rock. People tell you it's rock. Subphotonic will tell you it's all brick, been blown out and formed into blocks and what have you. So that's one of those walls. Another one. And here's a little different look at these walls. But these walls are everywhere around here. You know, these it's all like this, all this kind of stone stuff. And if you kind of get in here and look around, you can start to see how it's a possibility. So then I came down that road and I came to the Neshaminy Creek Watershed and Water Conservation Project, and they have it's a little park, so you can kind of walk around there and look. And I guess you could zoom this stuff up and read it a little better if you like. But I thought it was amazing. Little story they have here, and I went online and found some info on that some other people had done, and it just seems like a silly story, but anyhow, the word Neshaminy is said to mean double stream, and I could read this part, but then this is the thought was just almost ludicrous part. Historic documents state that there was never an actual castle located in the Castle Valley. Alright, no castle there in the Castle Valley. I mean, if you go to Doylestown, which is about 5 miles, maybe 7 at the most, you'll find castles, or at least a couple castles. You got the Mercer Museum, which is a castle, and then you've got Font Hill, which is where Mercer lived, and that's a castle. And then you've got the Tile Works, also Mercer's construction there, and it has a definite castle look. And there's like a concrete face over that. So I'm still trying to figure out whether he actually did put the concrete over top of these buildings, or whether they were blown out and that's like a veil of mortar. But I'm pretty sure he was famous for concrete. I mean, he's definitely famous for Mr. Concrete, so he supposedly built all these buildings out of concrete, but I have a feeling that's not really totally true. But anyhow, the story continues. The references state that a local landowner named Crazy Tom had gone mad from too much learning, so he just tried to learn everything he can, and he just went crazy. Sometimes I feel that way too, trying to learn all this stuff that people are bringing out. But apparently, he dreamed of creating a fortified castle based on his knowledge of Middle Age architecture and history. He toiled for several years in an effort to construct his castle on the steep slopes beside the Neshaminy Creek. His work involved carrying thousands of stones from the Neshaminy Creek to the top of the slopes. He died in 1768, and he never completed his task. Apparently, and somebody followed up more on the story. It's online, and I was going to get that up here, and I didn't, but apparently he was making it for an old Indian lady, and if he could make it properly, the old Indian lady was going to turn into a lovely girl to be his mate. But he couldn't do it, and something about Merlin, and I'll find that later. Maybe I'll do a different one later. But so that moves on, and then you've got the ecological. You could read this stuff. These signs that they put up, they start to have problems, and you can see how it will fade away, and you won't be able to read the sign soon. So that's how they change. They continue to give people a sense of a certain type of history that may or may not be real. But anyway, where you have that, if you walk around there over to the creek or near river over here almost, you go over to this creek and you find this stone area here, which was probably brick, I guess. But anyhow, it seemed it seemed obvious that this was one of these bridges, one of the bridge sides, if you will, and would go across. So this was that. Here's another picture of that as I got a little closer, and then you've got this whole side here coming up. So it comes up the same as a lot of these bridges, and you'll find these around here. And I'm going to get out, hopefully, and check out some more of these because they're around. Over in like Rushland area, you can find there's some over there that are just on that creek. It's the same creek, basically, the Neshaminy Creek, and they're everywhere. So here was a little part of a building laying in there, and more of that kind of stuff. It's a lot. The creeks around here have this a lot like that, and I'm starting to look at them, and that's that same side of that part. And so this is the guy building his castle, but was he building it right here in a creek? No, he was supposed to be taking it up. Whatever, there's stuff everywhere. So here's one that looks almost like a brick, full brick, maybe just a little bit heat. Like, how does this stuff stay square? That's my biggest thing. That was just something that was laying over there. Somebody dumped a metal something over there. I'm pretty sure that was just that. Now here's the new bridge that they constructed not that long ago, I believe, and already the kids getting down here and doing some graffiti, which is not welcome by most people, welcome by me, yes, because you can just get rid of it if you really have to. And I love to see the evolution of that kind of thing. That's the side of it. And here's underneath the bridge. They're at it. I don't know how the kids are getting up in here. I mean, did they bring a ladder down here with them, or what? I don't, so interesting. Maybe they just put a pole, or I don't know how they get up there, 'cause it's pretty high. Anyways, interesting stuff going on. They got blue in there. More of this stuff. There's Jay Leno up here. I don't know. Here's one of the taggers. Yeah. And then if you go up the street there, less than a mile away, you'll find this old building here, kind of castle-like, right? And that and the barn, also kind of castle-like. But here you can see that whole front just kind of all coming down on the front. So is that all mortar just kind of like coming down? Probably. And that's the place I went over to where my trailer, where I lived in when I was a kid. Then we gave the trailer over to this other place, but I was over there trying to find, nobody would come out, so whatever. But anyhow, they had this cool sign. Moving on, and this is the new construction. So the new construction that they put these facades on here, and they look like the old. They look like the old buildings. So then it kind of can get you a little confused. What's this? I mean, I don't know what. This may even be an old building. Look at the wear and stuff going on here. I mean, I thought this was new construction. Pretty sure it is, but they put these facades on. And I used to work for a bricklayer, and we used to go around laying brick, and we didn't build buildings out of the brick. We just put on facades to make it look like the building was brick. But people don't build out of brick these days. They build out of wood, and then they put on the facades. And that's what I would say this probably is. I don't know when this was built, but it's hard to say. I don't know. And then also you could build buildings out of these blocks, concrete blocks, because you buy these blocks and you can use them for bins, for whatever, mulch or grade or whatever. So they pile them all up, but apparently you can make a whole building out of it, because that's what I believe this is. Even though it's got a really old look, so it's hard to say, but I think that's what it is. So, it's hard to say. That's some art, some blurry pictures of art, more of that. Here's me trying to get the chemtrails that were out here this morning, and there was a helix, double helix shape right there, right in the sky again. I don't know how that happens. Do they flip over? There's another picture of that. It's hard to see. And that's my presentation, I think. But maybe I'll make another one, because I had some more information on that Crazy Tom story that people try to put up. I just thought it was absolutely silly. Crazy Tom. Yep, Crazy Tom going down. He's going down to the river again. You believe that, Crazy Tom? He is going down to the river again. And he's just getting those rocks every day. He piles up his little wagon full of those rocks, and then he piles them up out there. He's trying to build a castle like Merlin. Like the castles of old from Europe. We don't have castles around this town. No, we don't have any castles around here. No way. He was trying to build a castle. Spent his whole life trying to build a castle. I've been trying to build this castle. Everybody trying to build this castle. I'm trying to build this castle. I can't build it up. Well, I guess I'm gonna die now. I'm not gonna finish my castle, and I didn't have any children to help me build the castle. Oh, it's not really Castle Valley. People are gonna think this is a Castle Valley. I don't know about all that, but I do believe it's a possibility that everything that we see, every little mountain around here, we have hills basically around here in this area, they're all buildings. And it's possible that there are buildings everywhere. And I guess we'll see. But thanks for your time, and I'm gonna get back to it. I'm glad I actually got this done today. So thanks a lot, and take care.